has learned exactly how to troll Trump and Fox News. And nothing better encapsulates that reality than this moment right here.
Congressman Greg Abbott, who is in a wheelchair, and Newsom says he rolled over for Trump. That's almost as bad as Jasmine Crockett calling him Governor Hot Wheels. You know, we asked for a statement, and Newsom's office said something flippant like, you know, oh, you're so woke. He'll get over it. Abbott will get over it. Your response to that?
Here's why this is amazing. Fox and Republicans love to have it both ways. They love to brag about how they've got thick skin, how they can dish out comedy, how they're not like those sensitive libs who are so easily offended. But the second that it's given back to them, they run over to Fox and fire up the manufactured outrage machine. Like, I'm sorry, but when you're the party that collectively exists inside of the colon of this guy, you surrender your right to whine about people being mean.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms.
And he posted, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is a low, very, all three exclamation points there, all caps, IQ individual, much in the mold of the AOC plus 3 gang of country-destroying morons, only slightly dumber.
You know, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ, and we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best.
You know, she gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions, and, you know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and she was married.
That's huge news.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just like, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
You know, they're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So again, while Republicans genuflect at the altar of that guy, spare us the faux outrage about insults. But more important is Newsom's office's response to accusations of discrimination. Quote, no, but how woke of you to ask. I'm sorry Greg's feelings were hurt. Poor guy. Hope he recovers. Here's what I would immodestly suggest that we learn as Democrats. Do not validate Republicans' bad faith attacks. We don't have to pretend that they're on the level, because they're not. Classified information leaking is a national security issue when it's Hillary Clinton, and not an issue at all when it's Pete Hegseth and Mike Waltz. Democratic Supreme Court justices can't be considered during an election year, but Republican justices can be confirmed while voters are literally casting their ballots. They are not on the level, and they know it, but they rely on the fact that the Democrats are never willing to fight back, which is why we absolutely must right now. The redistricting fight in California is the culmination of decades of this fight coming to a head. Democrats have sat idly by while the Republicans have rigged the rules of the game in their favor. We create independent redistricting commissions in New York and California, while the Republicans rig the everlasting hell out of Florida and Texas. We've watched as they gerrymandered North Carolina, Wisconsin, Utah, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Ohio, and so many more. We've watched as they've passed voter suppression laws and eliminated Voting Rights Act mandated opportunity districts in states across the country. They are as anti-democracy as it gets. That ends now. California is going to bring the question of new mid-cycle maps to the voters of this state on November 4th. That's just 10 weeks from now. Unlike in Texas, the voters here are going to have a say in whether the maps get changed, which will serve as a means to neuter the power grab happening in Texas, Missouri, Indiana, and Florida at the hands of the GOP. And it's going to be temporary here. But here's the deal. Republicans know that if this gets passed, all of their work rigging the rules of the game will be for naught. So they're going all in California to prevent this referendum from passing on November 4th. We have to fight back in two ways. The first, we have to make sure that you and your community knows that this is happening, and more importantly, why it's happening, because it's not happening in a vacuum. This is a response to Republican overreach. It is us showing that we will no longer unilaterally disarm. We didn't start the mid-cycle redraw fight, but we certainly shouldn't be afraid to end it. And second, it's going to be expensive. Know that Republicans are going to pour tens of millions of dollars into defeating this. Why? Because they know California can undo all of the rigging that they're doing across the country. It'll cancel all of that out. They don't want that. So they need to make sure that California doesn't succeed. And they'll make sure to reach every voter in the state with their unlimited funding from their billionaire donors who want to keep in power a political party that heaps tax breaks onto them worth billions. They will stop at nothing. And furthermore, the Democrats won't have many, if any, big donors because they know that they will be retaliated against by Trump. He'll attack their business interests however he can, like he does for literally everyone. Which means that the onus falls on us, grassroots donors, to pick up the slack and help get the word out to every single voter in the biggest state in America what the stakes of this fight are. I'll put a link to donate on the screen and in the post description of this video. Here's why this is so important. Even if you're not from California or not particularly moved by gerrymandering, it is foundational. Everything in politics, healthcare, reproductive rights, gun violence, climate change, all of it relies on the ability of fairness in our elections. And that's a point that both myself and Gavin Newsom raised here. So this whole situation has kind of surged onto the scene in just the last few weeks, really. And to your great credit, you have responded as quickly as you possibly could, wasting no time in getting this thing on the ballot so that we can have our maps redrawn to counteract, to fight fire with fire against what they're doing in Texas. We still have other Democratic governors across the country who we've heard them say the right things, but we haven't seen action. And so in light of the fact that you're moving right now, we're getting this thing on the ballot in just a few months, and so this thing is moving as quickly as possible. What's your message to these other governors across the country who represent states that could also serve as weapons to counteract what the Republicans are doing, who haven't made any moves yet, any concrete moves yet to do something?
Well, gratitude to Kathy Hochul, gratitude to J.B. Pritzker for recognizing the urgency of the moment, for hosting the Texas delegation. Deep gratitude to the Texas delegation for raising the awareness and the stakes that put a lot of wind in our sail, that gave us the ability to make the case to our legislature. But now it's time to act. Now it's time to take it to the next step. And it's not just those two that have already demonstrated a commitment on this. It's many other states. There are a lot of other blue states out there. Let's go. This is it. There's no dress rehearsal. This guy is going after any institution that cultivates independent thought. He's rewriting history in real time at the Smithsonian. He's literally going after institutions of higher learning like the UC system, and notably here UCLA, which is doing life-saving research that literally is protecting our national security. It's the reason we're the economic tentpole of the American economy and the world economy in the United States of America as a beneficiary. This guy is wrecking it all in real time. We need to wake up. We cannot survive if he rigs not just Texas, but he goes to Indiana, goes to Missouri, goes to Ohio, he goes to Florida. We have to have other governors of like mind, and there are many, to now do something, not just say something.
Right. I think that the main point here is if you stand for any democratic ideal, all of it relies on having a functioning democracy. So if you're a governor or a state legislator in another state and you claim to want to combat climate change or expand health care or protect women's reproductive rights or make unions stronger or whatever it is, protect kids in schools from guns, whatever it may be, all of that relies on being able to survive in a functional democracy, to have the opportunity to be elected in the first place. And so if the House is rigged, if they're able to scientifically engineer maps so that Democrats are precluded from ever having the opportunity to win, none of it matters. And so we can defend, we can claim that we want to stand for something. We can, beat our chests about, standing up for our values. But if we can't do it, if there's no practical way, if there's no method to actually be in power, then none of that matters. And so this is the whole ballgame right here.
God bless you. We're about to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers. Co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty, rule of law. You're spot on. Everything you just said is spot on. This is it. And at what point, there's literally no more evidence than you need than the evidence that has been submitted in the first 6.5, 7 months of the Trump administration. And you think this is going to get better? You think if we just say, well, Mr. Trump, it's fine. We know it's a race to the bottom. You may call upon those other states. Can you just do 5 and California will stand down? God damn it, enough. Democrats, stop being weak. Step up. These guys have been dominating the narrative. They have been defining the terms of the debate. It's time to get on our off our heels, onto our front toes. It's time to do just that. Dominate the narrative, flood the zone, and surround sound. It's time for us to all band together.
So again, the stakes could not be higher for all of us. If you'd like to help get the word out, please follow the link in the post description and do your part to fight back. We don't often fight, so when we do, we all have a vested interest in making sure that we win. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.